Shadows of Brimstone was one of my favorite games last year, and now I'm very excited to be here at GenCon 2015, where they're showing some of the new expansions that the backers of the project have been eagerly awaiting for the last year. Expansions that, for the most part, are in fact included in the pledges, the expansions that come from stretch goals. And now finally these expansions have been produced, and Jason from Shadows of Brimstone, but from Flying Frog has agreed to tell us a little bit about these expansions. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, so the first one here is Caverns of Cinder. I can probably just turn this around. It's basically a brand new other world. This was one of the stretch goals for the Kickstarter. And it has a full new set of map tiles for that new world, and on the back side it's got a full new set of unique mine map tiles, so it expands your mine adventures as well as the new other world. It's also got a lot of new encounters and artifacts and things like that. A new enemy type, the Lava Man, which are pretty brutal, cool new enemies for the Caverns of Cinder. And
they look brutal.
Yeah, a bunch of cool new extras, extra counters. One thing that's kind of fun is it's got little poker chip counters you can use for tracking experience or things like that that you want to during the game with counters. So there's a lot of cool new stuff. It's also got 6 new missions in it, 3 that are mine themed with some of the new mine map tiles, and 3 that are specifically Caverns of Cinder themed in the other world. And so it's a pretty fantastic new expansion. It's actually going to be shipping out to backers relatively soon. We also have the Doorways into Darkness kind of small expansion. It's plastic doorways that you can use to put down at the end of hallways wherever you can look down a door. And it's got some for the mines and some for doorways in other worlds. It also has a new 15-card expansion that's just included in it that adds some new darkness cards, some new gear cards, and some new encounters that are all sort of themed for exploration. One of the cool ones in here is actually it's got outlaw armor, which is pretty cool. It's one of the coolest new gear items that we've made, but it makes you really tough but really slow.
That makes sense.
So that's the Doorways into Darkness. We also have, for GenCon, we have several GenCon preview items, and these ones are both stretch goals here. They're deluxe enemy packs. It's the Serpent Men of Jargono, which are 2 new enemy types. It's the Serpent Men themselves and the Serpent Man Shaman. And it basically has a couple of new scenarios in it, new missions you can play. It's got the 2 new enemy types, all the cards you need for them, including a special Serpent Magic deck for the Shaman. It's got Serpent Man Tribe cards to have different tribes of Serpent Men attack you. It's got little special juju trinkets for the Shaman. Lots of cool new stuff, new encounters, and lots of fun stuff there. And it's specifically intended to expand the swamps, but it can be used even if you don't have the Swamps of Jargono. And then the other deluxe enemy pack here we have is the Masters of the Void. And this one also has 2 new enemy types because it's a deluxe enemy pack. It's got the Void Hounds and the Void Sorcerers. It also has 2 new missions that are themed around those guys. And it's got a bunch of new cards, new artifacts you can get, and new encounters. It also has a new spell deck for the Void Sorcerers, so they can cast Void Magic at you. They're pretty fun. They launch Void Bolts, they have special shields around them, and they can do all sorts of crazy cool stuff.
Yeah, and the Sorcerer has a delightful Cthulhian look to it.
Yeah, he's got crazy big robes and big kind of tentacle face with his crazy hood and dagger. And
tentacles is one of those things, the more the better in games.
So on the other side of you here, if you want to rotate, if that's possible.
Absolutely. We're giving you the feel, my dear viewers, the feel of navigating.
When the doors just opened at GenCon.
Yep.
So a couple of the cool new enemy packs that we have for Shadows of Brimstone here are the Scourge rats, which are basically rats that have been hiding out in the mines, have been collecting up darkstone and building nests out of it, and they've become giant and mutated and kind of gross. And so you get a big group of 12 Scourge rats and their nest in the background, which spawns up to 3 new rats a turn. So it can be quite intense.
Painful.
You have to really fight your way to that nest and tear it down before they overrun you. Also right beside them we have the Gargantuan Burrower. This is the biggest enemy that we have so far, and it's basically a massive worm that burrows through worlds, and it lives in the void, but sometimes it'll tear through into the real world. And it's actually the first kind of epic enemy. So having a battle with the Burrower is kind of an epic event. He's got tentacles that are constantly popping up and fighting him, and he can smash, he can burrow underground, come back up under people. It's definitely an epic battle when you come against the Burrower. So he's pretty cool. Also, one thing that's really exciting at the show is we actually have 2 new enemy types that no one's ever heard of. They kind of came about during the development of a lot of the Kickstarter stuff, to sort of, because we had cool ideas along the way, but they weren't part of the Kickstarter because they just hadn't been invented yet. And so those 2 enemies are actually the Hell Vermin, which are kind of massive Cerberus-style 2-headed mutant rats that have grown completely out of control, and they've got barbed tails. They regenerate. They've got corruption bites, so when they bite you, they can actually start corrupting you and mutating you. They're super crazy and really cool. Big, large-size rats. And then the other one is down here. It's the Swamp Slugs of Jargono. And these are basically a large enemy that's themed for the swamps of Jargono. And they're massive swamp slugs that stalk the swamps and envelop people and devour them. And they have a cool new ability called Endurance, where they can only take so many wounds per hit. So you really have to kind of pound on them with as many hits as you can, with as many people as you can, to try to defeat them. They also have acidic mucus, so if they get close to you, they can start sliming you and eating away at you, and ignoring your defense even with these little wounds here and there as you're trying to battle them. So they're pretty cool. Up here you can see the miniatures for the Masters of the Void Deluxe Enemy Pack. You got the Void Hounds and the Void Sorcerers, and those turned out fantastic. They are some of the best figures we've produced yet, I think, just with the detail level on them. Over here you can actually see a little bit of a preview. We don't have these available yet, but these guys on the far end are the Bandits. And the Bandits are a new enemy type that's part of the expanded Frontier Towns. So when you're adventuring in the town, you can actually fight a new group of enemies, the Bandits. There's also a big town adventure board that you can actually fight missions in the town. So one of the missions is called a Town Overrun, where enemies are pouring in from all the streets, and you're trying to try to kill as many enemies as you can to break the attack on the town. And it's really intense and really fun.
Excellent. Thank you, Jason, for showing us some of the new expansions that are being previewed here at GenCon 2015. Thank you.
Thank you.